channel. I'm your host 𝙒𝙖𝙩𝙪. Today I have with me Elmer Yuen. We're going to talk about a few very interesting things. First of all, China's new currency. Second of all, the indictment of Donald Trump and what it means to United States politics as well as the overall democracy as we know it. And most importantly, I'm going to request Elmer to talk a little bit about what is happening with Hong Kong Parliament. So here we go. Let's invite the modern day Marco Polo, Elmer Yuen. Elmer,
thank you for inviting me. Thank you, sir. Sorry, I've been doing so much hectic traveling and almost on a daily basis. So Cerise tried to catch me to talk to the Indian audience, and I'm really trying very hard. Excuse me. Sorry for missing something. But there are so many things happening. Yes. It's worth talking about.
Yeah, go ahead, sir. First of all, where are things with the Hong Kong Parliament? You've been jetting across the world, trying to garner support. A lot of things are in place. How are things going now?
You see, what happened in Hong Kong was in 1997, the British gave away Hong Kong to the communists, basically, in a blind trust. They signed an agreement. It's called the John Declaration, Sino-British John Declaration, giving away Hong Kong. And then there was no, what do you call, there was no recourse. There's no recourse, in the agreement. Now we look at it, it's unbelievable. So the Hong Kong is worth, of course, trillions of dollars. They give it away to China for free. And then all that money is supposed to belong to Hong Kong, and it's called one country, two system. And but then they signed an agreement. What if the Chinese don't keep their promise? They never thought of it. I mean, never thought of the Chinese. So Chinese gladly took Hong Kong, and then within 25 years instead of 50 years, basically took over Hong Kong and forget about all the legal system, the freedom and everything, and they do whatever they want. And then the British just protest. Right? And in the meantime, we have more than 7 million people's freedom, and it's been given away to a communist dictator. Can you imagine what happened if you give away 7 million Indian people to Chinese in your border? This is as bad as that. I mean, this is going to be a riot. But then of Hong Kong, what can we do? We have no arm, nothing. So now I'm in fact. There's a warrant for my arrest, right? Because I'm founding this Hong Kong Parliament. There are about 7 million Hong Kong people living in Hong Kong. There are about another 2-3 million Hong Kong people living outside Hong Kong. Imagine, it's like India before, right? You used to have a lot of British officials,
yes,
and British military, and British born in India. So we have the same situation as yours. And these people are also qualified to vote. Our qualification is either you're born in Hong Kong or live in Hong Kong for 7 years. So you can imagine, we have Australian, Canadian, we have people from your country. Seriously, not small. I know. Few 100,000, you're not talking about small. And they're born in Hong Kong or live in Hong Kong for more than 7 years. Many of them. So I am trying to get everybody, whoever is born in Hong Kong or live in 7 years, the right to vote, right? And elect their own. The first time would be like a constitution member of the parliament. So their first duty this time is actually to draft the constitution for referendum, and this is a huge honor. Imagine, you are running to be a founding father of Hong Kong.
That's right.
I'm not going to run because, in order to be fair, I promise not to run. So what happened is, this is very serious. We are going to elect 35 members of parliament, and their duty is to draft the constitution for a referendum by the Hong Kong people. And I have to devise a online voting system that's absolutely safe and not traceable. Bulletproof, and leave no trace. So when a person votes, it's really a self-help. All right, you put your passport, and then your face, of course, next to it. So the passport basically writes where you were born. All right, so if it's Hong Kong and then the passport picture matches with you, it's simple AIs. Then you are qualified to vote. Something like this. There are also other cases. But anyway, this is quite safe because at the end of the voting, you delete all the information. And it's all on VPN. The whole thing is done on the latest technology of VPN. So it's not traceable. Your IP address is hidden. So, and there is no apps. There is no apps, no registration. It's immediate, and that's it. So it's a very interesting system. So, and if we are successful, it can be applied not only in China but worldwide. As you know,
Yes.
you wrote the book about the mess in U.S., right? I
Yes.
mean, oh my God, these people are unbelievable. So anyway, and I'm very worried that. So we'll go to that later. So anyway,
Yeah.
we are going to have an election sometime by the end of the year to elect 30 MPs to really draft the constitution. It's a very serious matter. We have to invent this whole thing by ourselves. And in 1997, we were given a so-called basic law, which is a Chinese law, and the Chinese Parliament can override it anytime. So now we're making our own constitution, and eventually we'll have our own government, everything according to our constitution. It's a very interesting. I think it's really worthwhile. Every time and then we have discussion groups. Every time we come up with an idea, which a constitution is not that complicated. It's pretty extended. But then every article, everything is really against China because they don't have it. Everything they do is they don't. A simple thing that press freedom, for instance, right? That they don't have it. So we have a discussion group with people mostly in Cantonese. So I would say in China, maybe 100 million people speak Cantonese in mainland China. So anyway, we are trying to stir trouble up and get these people to understand what is freedom, what is the meaning of democracy and all that, because it's all written in the Constitution. And by discussing, they understand. And sooner or later, we are going to spread this virus to them, the virus of democracy. So this is what we plan to do.
I love it. Virus of democracy. You are the Benjamin Franklin of Hong Kong, my dear friend. He was around 76 years old or 74 years old, somewhere in that ballpark when they signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776. And all his feats. He printed the first paper currency, which all these 12 states could accept and say, okay, this is not duplicatable, very reliable. He was a printer, more or less, and he did so many things, amazing stuff, amazing guy. Harmonica, he invented the modern day fireplace so that people won't have methane and dye inside, all sorts of good stuff that he has done. But, this is the virus of democracy, has a real nice ring to it. Good luck to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Now you are in the US of A, and how do you find these politics? The Democratic members of Parliament, and some even, Democratic members of the Congress, and some even Republicans also, they are talking about a case that took place in India where one of the opposition leaders lost a defamation suit. And he could have apologized. What he said was wrong. But they are saying now Modi should go and overturn the judicial order. But they are not saying anything about what they have done to the ex-president Donald Trump. So this is a mess. The US likes to talk about other countries' democracies, but it will be very quiet when it comes to their own. Your thoughts on what's going to happen? Do you think he's going to be arrested? Because Ron DeSantis has said, I'm not going to honor any request for extraditing Trump. So take it away.
I believe, first of all, he's indicted, right? It's called indicted, by the grand jury, even though there's no document yet. But I'm sure that's a fact because everybody's reporting it.
Yeah.
And for a crime, which is really ridiculous. I mean, Trump is a very good-looking guy. Why should he have to pay anything, really? I mean, in Manhattan, there are busloads of beautiful women, really chasing after him. So first of all, I don't believe he need to pay anybody. Right? And he has beautiful wives and family. There's no need for such thing. So the whole case in the beginning was a ridiculous thing. I live in Manhattan for 10 years in the Trump Tower, so I know what's it like. And of course, this way over the statutory limit, and then it's a joke. So what they're really doing is helping Trump for his re-election in 2024. And this is very helpful. You remember when he was running at 2016, he used to argue all the way with the press. You remember, on a daily basis, he would pick a fight and then start doing this, and then the whole nation will be reporting it. All the TVs will report. This is one of his gimmicks. All right? He's very good at it. And these guys walk right into his trap. So I think it's really helpful, and he's going to gain at least overall maybe over 10% just in this so-called arrest. If he's arrested and taking a mugshot, and then even with a, it's even better. It works even better for him. So I don't feel bad for him at all. I think you remember, he was the one who announced it first. So he's creating his own publicity. He's very good at it. You remember The Apprentice? He used to he knows how to publicize himself. The man is very, very clever. And USA needs such a person. I lobby. I spent last 10 days in DC lobbying. It's a mess. Of course, now, luckily, we have the conservative running the Congress, the House of Representatives.
Right.
And they are doing a lot. Half of their effort is actually against China. The other half is doing domestic legislation, and very active. I call them machine gun. They are really a machine gun every day, and let's keep on pulling the trigger. And every day, these laws are very, very tough. It represents the anger of the American people against what China have done. So it's very good, and I don't need to do any lobbying. They are more aggressive than me, and very successful. And this is just the beginning. They've only taken over the Congress, but in about 2 months, and then it's going to be severe. It's keep on escalating. A lot of hearing now, domestic hearing. They're going to have international hearing, especially on the virus. Virus is a big deal, and the origin of virus. And even Biden has just signed off to disclose, to what you call release everything, meaning no more secret. All the classified document on the COVID must be released. COVID origin. So we are this. The whole. Not only the whole world was waiting for them. Everybody knew that virus came from Wuhan. Everybody knew. But everybody is just waiting for US to take the action. Australia have huge evidence. UK, everybody, I'm sure India and Taiwan especially, they have all the evidences that is from a biolab warfare. It's a weapon. Right? And they weaponized the virus. So this first is to confirm the origin, and then it's going to be reparation. And I think globally, at least the total loss was $100 trillion, global loss. And I think US now finally is going to take the leadership and chase after China. Of course, we're not going to get that kind of money, but at least we know where the responsibility. And then China forever, and for at least 100 years, will owe this damaged debt to the world. And we must make it clear. Somebody, even if they cannot pay, then we have